The Outlaws of Thunder Junction train may have gotten off to a slow start, but since spoiler season, I think it's safe to say that Magic the Gathering fans like you and I are more and more hyped about the Wild Wild West release. And maybe the theme is for some of us or not for some of us, but we all can communicate through this common language of we like good, fun Magic cards, and this set seems to be packed full of them. And while I myself am buying a bunch of Thunder Junction, I'm doing some box openings on the channel, and I am excited to get this product for the first time in a long time when it comes to standard Magic the Gathering sets. I gotta say, there is still one issue that I really hope Wizard of the Coast fixes going forward. Now, Outlaws of Thunder Junction has been a wild, wild west of an experiment. It has been fun to watch how regular people and fans like you and I are pre-ordering this set compared to other releases. Now, we saw, just like we did with Karlov Manor, some insane TCG player sales. We saw a lot of boxes move through the ecosystem in that window, and then I expected sales of these products to come to a drastic slowing, not a halt, it's still Magic pre-release, but a drastic slowing post that sale, and well, they have not. And with all of the talk of these spoilers between the various sets, remember that phrase, in Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I think it's safe to say we are really excited about this product. And with all this hype going on, it's easy to highlight the good, the amazing design space that we are getting into, the cool reprints that are getting into our hands, and some of our favorite characters actually being meaningful in a story again. That's right, Magic the Gathering fans who are really into the lore and the IP are embracing Outlaws of Thunder Junction in a way that I originally didn't think that they would. Now, I'm not saying that the story is perfect, the lore is on point, and it's the best thing you're ever going to hear, no, but it is an improvement, and things are moving in a positive direction, and that's something I love to see. But there is still a problem with Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and I think it could cause a problem with Magic the Gathering going forward if it's not fixed. And my main concern with sets like this, and any set going forward, this is not an Outlaws of Thunder Junction specific discussion, but it really does apply here, is Magic the Gathering subsets within a release. If we look at Outlaws of Thunder Junction on the surface, we know it's a standard release product, meaning, well, used to be meaning that the cards that come out in this product are playable in standard and other formats where standard cards are legal. It used to be very simple. And then came the introduction of Commander and the Commander community taking over all of Magic the Gathering, and I'm not complaining about that. The fact that more people are playing Magic the Gathering in more ways than ever is an absolute win for our community. I'm all in behind that. I love that. In fact, if it grows my community and my favorite game, I am frankly all for it. I have changed my tune and been behind Universes Beyond because of this. It's put more outside eyes into our game, and I think that is a win. But along with this Commander growth and rapid expansion into the Commander-verse came the addition of the Commander subset in these products, and it was probably the first time, or the first meaningful time, that I can remember opening a box and having to differentiate between which cards were legal, where, and how. And this was a bit off-putting, but I'll admit there's just two sets in there. You have Commander cards and you have regular cards, and while I am not for that, I like giving our Commander community the ability to actually dig into the set and pull out the stuff that they want to play and play with the core mechanics released by the various box or set, or I guess at this point subset. I've been more of a fan of that. Hey, I will live with the Commander subset. But then as we got more and more down the reprint rabbit hole, we seemed to add subset after subset after subset, and now we're sitting here at Outlaws of Thunder Junction, where we have five, maybe even six subsets in the same box. Now, all in all, for the majority of the community, this is probably not as big of a deal as it is to someone like me. And in fact, you can let me know if the number of subsets in this Magic the Gathering release is bothersome for you, or if frankly you just don't care. But I want to tell you why I think it is important, and that is the homogenization of these products. The idea that we are trying to have a Magic the Gathering release and have it do so many things. And we see this affecting the design space of not just this set, not just recent standard sets, but future planned Magic the Gathering sets and all sets that we at least know of at this moment going forward. And this design space, I believe, is somewhere where our game doesn't shine the best. We have had such great history and such great tie-in, both emotionally, physically, and yes, even financially, to sets that came out and they were meant to do one thing, took all their energy and all the focus of the amazing design and development team, and did that one thing better than any other TCG out there. What I mean by this are some examples. We have remastered sets, which took the idea of this reprint and reliving this. Think back to Time Spiral Remastered, how much of an absolute banger that set was. It was focused on one thing, and it did that one thing better than anything else. Think back to some of your favorite standard Magic the Gathering sets, those who are ultra boomer and have been around long enough like I have, probably remember sets that they remember extremely fondly that were just for standard. There were no subsets. It wasn't based around this massive reprint for your commander deck. It was just a standard set, and you lived in that moment. And yes, Modern Horizons 1 and 2, no matter what you think about them, came out to do a job. They were modern supplemental sets, and they are iconic in our community, and they did that better than any other product. In fact, I would argue homogenized products that have multiple angles of attack where we're trying to do so many different things all at once generally don't perform well. I mean, that's not a rule. I'm not saying that always happens. You look at Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings seems to be almost like its own year of Magic in this little bubble. You can attack Lord of the Rings from so many different angles, Commander, modern, limited play, stuff like that. But for the most part, they don't do nearly as well. And with this also comes the added complexity to Magic the Gathering. A common complaint in our community, or let's not even call it a complaint, a critique of our game, is while we are exploring deeper and deeper design spaces and doing more to sell more products and hold the value of our card and get boxes out to the community, we are digging deep into the design well, and Magic the Gathering cards are looking more and more like books every single day. Now, that's not always a bad thing, but when it comes to onboarding new players, getting the younger generation involved, or teaching your friend how to play Magic in some form or fashion, this does complicate things a bit. To Wizards of the Coast credit, they often make starter products and really cool, two-player starter kit decks and arena starter things that kind of get you off the ground and rolling, but it's really hard to have your first Magic the Gathering experience going to a pre-release anymore because of the massive text on the cards. And I say all that to say that the complication, I'm just making up words at this point because this is fun. If you're still here, subscribe to the channel because we're racing to 8,500 subs. But this making things more complicated in Magic the Gathering extends beyond just the card, and that is the subset too. Before, it used to be as you were onboarded in Magic the Gathering, and maybe you weren't super hyper focused on everything, but you could tell kind of your core set symbols and where cards came from and what box you could get those cards out of, and it was pretty snappy and fairly easy. Now, it's like you have all these subset symbols and all these various things to remember, and you have no idea, frankly, where these cards come from anymore. They're no longer tied to that box, that experience, that point in time in your Magic the Gathering history, and that, to me, is extremely meaningful. I'm a big proponent that, yes, Magic's the biggest game. It's my favorite game. It's got the most love, and all in all, it has had a banger of a 2023 and 2024. The ship has drastically turned in a positive direction. I do think we are still lacking, however, on the tie, that emotional tie for Magic fans like myself, like you guys out there, to the products, the cards, and the experiences we are having in the game. And that, to me, is meaningful. It's something that keeps someone like me coming back all the time on the hardest of days, on the easiest of days. When maybe I get into a new video game and I play that. Let's say I play a video game for 6 months and I get done and I'm like, what brings me back to Magic the Gathering? It's a lot of that core memory, that core energy, that core nostalgic pull. If we lose that, we lose more players over the long haul because that desire to enter back into the fold might not be there or might not be strong enough. So So all in all, I think this set's going to be a banger. I think the diverse number of subsets, this overcomplication of Magic the Gathering, the subsets where the cards are coming from, and having to kind of have a glossary and an index for everything is not a positive. We see it with, heck, Modern Horizons 3 is going to have a Commander subset. There's going to be multiple symbols in there. We got Assassin's Creed, and then an Assassin's Creed style Aftermath. An aftermath of a smaller subset. Yeah, either way, you get what I'm saying. It's complicated, and I think we need to slim that down. And like, let's be honest. Wizards of the Coast releases 100 products a year. There is space to fit all of these things in their own dedicated lane. It's just going to take some work and organization. All right, I hope you guys had some fun today. If you liked this discussion, make sure you share this video on any social media platform where you engage with Magic the Gathering conversation. If you haven't subscribed yet, I already asked you to, but if you still haven't, and you're part of the 70, I think 8% of the viewers who aren't subscribed to the channel, click the button. It helps me out a ton. If you want to support further, continue joining the channel, or consider joining the channel membership. It's $5 a month. Channel members had access to Star Wars Unlimited boxes, which are now at $200 plus for $120 shipped to their door. I always give deals to channel members. I always give early access to content. I try to put out some exclusive content. You get access to custom emotes, and it helps support cardboardfinance.com, where we track all this data that we talk about. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and we will see you around. All right, goodbye.